Wes Clark Jr. All right, Wes is in his house. We're going to review MAG, another game, okay? But if you don't know this, MAG, it turns out, stands for Massive Action Game. So, Wes, you're our gaming expert. Obviously, my first question is, was it a massive action game?
256 players all at once playing in one battle.
Well, it's impossible to argue that that is not massive.
It's massive. It's so much more massive than anything else that's out there, like by a factor of like 6 or 7. It's huge.
So, but how do you do it?
Okay, can I be a little more specific about this game? So there are 256 players, and they're divided into squads of 8 players, okay? And then 4 squads equal to a platoon, and 4 platoons comprise a company. Okay? So basically, do you really need 256 people to play? Is there a minimum number of people that can play this game?
Yeah, there's engagements where you only have 32 people on your team, but you don't have to worry about picking what squad you're going to be in or platoon or anything like that. It just shuffles you right in there, and if you're gaming with a group of people, it just puts you all together.
So you grab your game, you put it in, and you want to play, and then what does it say? It says, oh, lucky for you, there's 31 other people about to play, and you're in this platoon.
No, it's kind of a weird game when you start out. I mean, it's classic first-person shooter. I think it was made by the same guys who did, like, SOCOM. And, you know, when you play it, you go in, and there's no campaign. Most games that are online games, there's at least a campaign of several hours to get you used to the weapons and the equipment and movement techniques and everything else. This, you have literally like a 2.5-minute training program, and then boom, you're in the live game.
All right, you know, we know that I'm ignorant to all this gaming stuff, and that's why we bring you in, and so you help me to learn as a novice. I don't even know what a campaign is. What do you mean a campaign?
A campaign is like a single-player version of the game, where you go through and you're basically battling against artificial intelligence bots. That,
so you can't even play this one player?
You can't even play this one player. No, you have to have an online connection for it.
Okay, but you just go online, and there's a bunch of people that are playing with it.
You plug
simultaneously.
in, it loads up your information. You hit deploy, and boom, like you're in the game you want to be in within about 30 seconds.
See, I was really concerned about this game at first because I was concerned
yes.
because
I've been concerned about it all week.
At first I didn't realize. First of all, you be quiet.
Okay.
I wasn't sure as to whether or not you needed to personally know other players. I mean, how do you connect with them? But it turns out
all online games basically work the same. It kind of plugs you in, or if you have friends in the network or something like that, you can link up with them before and do it.
Oh, I see. So you don't need to know these people personally. It's like going into a chat room and playing a game.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, and so is there fragging? Can you shoot?
Yeah,
your own
you
players?
can shoot your own players, but it works on a point system with power-ups. I mean, if you like, not that you do like because you haven't played it, Call of Duty. They've got a point system where you unlock new stuff based on the number of kills you had or mission success. This one works in a different way, but it's still, you can power up your skills and you can power up your weapons.
So if you're a serial fragger, you're going to be in line.
You're not going to advance because it actually deducts points from you.
I got you, but can you set up 2 different personas? Can you?
No,
be like...
it forces you to go through the same guy. So at the beginning of the game, you get to choose between, and there's like 3 kind of groups you can join. Valor, which is like a bunch of gung-ho Americans, and like you fight in Alaska. And then there's Raven, where you're the Europeans, so you're into like, really precision type of warfare. And then they have like S.V.E.R, which is, take all of Asia, Indians, Chinese, Russians, everyone in Central Asia, and their motivating force is not precision or, gung-ho, it's bitterness.
What do you mean?
They give you like a 5-minute trailer for each of these groups before you pick which one when you start playing the game. And if you pick S.V.E.R, it's like, hey, do you want to hit back at the man who's made your life suck?
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love the assumptions behind that.
And online, in most of the games I've played, S.V.E.R, like, just smokes everybody.
Oh, really?
Because that bitterness helps in battle.
Apparently.
Okay. Now, you were actually in the Army. Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's how I got addicted to all this stuff.
Yeah,
we had to do training simulators in the service too.
Right. What was your highest rank when you left the Army? What was your rank?
I was like a first lieutenant promotable.
Well, I don't know. That sounds pretty good. First Lieutenant Clark here, part of the S.V.E.R division.
No, I got out once because I didn't want to be a staff officer. I like going out and doing the stuff in the field, and like once you become a captain, it's like you're sentenced to 4 or 5 years of staff duty, or you used to be. Probably not anymore.
Yeah, no, we're not interested in staff duty. We're interested in kicking some ass.
That's right.
Okay, so how did the game go? Was it badass?
No, it's a great game. I don't think it's like revolutionary in the way that Call of Duty was, but it reminded me a lot of the Battlefield games. So what you'll have is 2 really big groups of people facing off on, I mean, the map is just, it's enormous. It takes a long time to figure out where the great hide spots are. Really well-constructed map. But at the same time, all this stuff breaks down to, you got kind of 2 waves of people starting out on opposite sides of a sandbox, and there's 5 or 6 choke points. And once you play the game enough, you know where the choke points are, and you can just start smoking people.
Now, with Call of Duty, there's an extremely long wait in the queue, right? Tell me about this game.
First of all, Anna, tell me what you think a queue is.
I love how she's trying to pretend to be knowledgeable. It's awesome. I understand that there's a lot of people in the queue. No, that's a great question. What's the queue?
Is there an answer? Is there an answer?
No, I asked a great question. You answer my question
first.
Wait,
first, what's the queue? No, because if I tell you what the answer is, you'll know what the queue is.
The queue is how long you're waiting to begin the game?
Yes! Kind of. Anyway, what you do is you just, like in most of the games, you press a button, it's like searching for hosts, searching for hosts, searching for players, and you're sitting there like, do I have time to go outside and have a cigarette while this game starts? I mean, should I take a break, do something else? This one, like, you're literally in it. I never waited more than 30 or 40 seconds to have the game loaded up and start, and then when you're killed, you respawn. At the most, I've waited like 16, 17 seconds.
Real quick, when you respawn, do you go back into the middle of the platoon you were
No,
in?
Unfortunately you don't. You start out at the very back of the sandbox. So what you're really doing is you're spending 80% of your game running up to where the front line is, and then you're immediately killed, and you got to start back and run.
Well,
if you're into the running, it's a perfect game.
But that seems like a downside, almost a significant downside.
You know, it's motivation not to get shot so quickly.
Well, that's true. that's.
And I'd like to say something for all the hate that was on last week about not liking stories. You know what? If I want a story, I'll go see a movie or I'll read a book. I mean, I know everyone's bitter and pissed off, and yeah, Uncharted had a great story, and it really helped the game. But for most video games, it's like, let me tell you what the story is. You wake up, you have a nebulous past, like maybe you've got amnesia. There's a king, a general, or a fucking wizard who's going to send you on a mission that's going to save the world or the universe or your kingdom or whatever else. You have to go to 5 separate towns. One of them's in some place with snow. One place is desert. One place is jungle. And, you know, the whole gamut. Each one you've got to find a particular person and, like, kiss their ass to get them to approve something. And at the end, when you've got all your power-ups or the magic sword or the great gun, you find out the guy who sent you on all these missions tricked you and is really your enemy. It's
there
like,
it is. All
there it
games.
is. There's your fucking story.
Does that happen here? And at the end,
no, there's no fucking story in this. You're just shooting people. But and for Mass Effect, I can't review it, even though everyone says, review Mass Effect. I can't do that because I don't have a Xbox 360. Mine like broke down and died like 2 weeks after warranty. And I'm like, fuck if I'm going to give Microsoft another $200.
No, be cool. Unless Microsoft, of course, wanted to give one to Wes so that he could review their games.
Yes!
You know, we're not saying anything, we're just saying.
I didn't say that at all, but
okay.
I would definitely like to play Mass Effect 2 because I like the first one a lot.
Microsoft put some thought behind it. All right, and then finally, is there an objective here? Do we accomplish that objective? Like, does the platoon at the end?
No, yeah. You get more points if your platoon, gets a victory or a failure, but the big thing is it's all about leveling up and increasing your skills and getting your better weapons. And I take my time. I've only played like 10 hours. I'm not even an officer yet in it. And when you're an officer, you get to like give orders and call down artillery and airstrikes.
That sounds pretty cool.
No, it's great, dude. It's got vehicles in it. And
so you really like this game?
It's a good game. I don't think it's an absolutely like game changer in terms of like when the first Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out, you're like, oh, I've got to have that. This isn't that game. But if you like Battlefield or SOCOM or something like that, or even just general first-person shooters, you've got to buy this motherfucker.
That's a pretty strong recommendation. And I suspect in the end that what would be really cool is if you had a bunch of guys you always play with.
Yeah, you would absolutely clean house. Because what happens is you're talking about, 64 or 128 people on your team. most of them are just running around like chickens with their heads cut off, no coordinated action. But when you go up against a team that even has 10 or 11 players that are playing together consistently and that, most importantly, talk to each other, they dominate.
So wait, I have a question. I'm interested in like the social networking aspect of this. Do you make friends doing this?
Fuck no, I don't make friends doing that. No way. I shoot people in the face. That's it. That's it. I'm not.
Even
it's like,
if someone's in your platoon for like a year, you're still
dude,
not.
no one's gonna be in my platoon. It randomly assigns you a new platoon every time, and like.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't want some fucking weirdo like being friends with me and having all my information on the network. No way.
Have you met First Lieutenant Clark?
I have. That was a silly question.
I like your question on the queue, though. That was trenchant.
Very inquisitive when it comes to this game.
Absolutely. All right, so there you have it. Apparently, massive action game is pretty badass.
It's pretty badass.
Yeah, and Wes says you should buy it. That's pretty high.
I can't be an advertisement on things. I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to give it a point system or something. I'm just saying it's a good game. It's a good, solid game. Lots of replay value. Hope they come out with some new maps, but.
All right, there you go. Young Turks.